Good morning, students. Today we will be going with IED chapter number 4, Strategy of Industrial Growth 1947 to 1919, where we will be going with the terminology of industry, then development, importance of industry, factors, having a direct participation of the state, and small introductory of IPR 1956. So starting with industry, basically industry means the production of goods in factories. Now, industry plays a very important role in both the things, growth and development of a nation. Now, development here with respect to industries, there are three things which we have to remember. Increase in the number of industries, increase in industrial production, and improvement in technology. These three will give us the development as well as development with respect to industry. Now, coming on with the importance of industry. There are around 6 to 7 importance which we have to keep in mind. First is the epicenter of economic growth. With respect to the text, the epicenter of economic growth. Now, if there is certain increase in the GDP, there will be certain structural transformation in the industry as well. And wide range of goods will be utilized with respect to the industries where the consumers would be spending their income as well. And second is industry also replaces agriculture. Now there are certain reasons as well why the industry replaces agriculture. Second is the source of employment, as agriculture is overburdened. Why? Because the labor force is increasing rapidly and at a very fast rate. In order to curb the overburden of this agricultural product, as the supply of labor is more, so it channelizes into different various industries where the workers can work. That's why industry plays a major role. Now, when I talk about source of mechanized means of farming means where the machines are used instead of laborers. So, while using these machines in farming, there is growth and development as well in the farming products, and there will be exponential rise in the farm products as well. Why? Because they will be having more growth as compared to the usual period. Going on with the next importance, that is imparts dynamism to growth process. Now here we will be seeing two observations. If there was no industry at all, then we will be only be producing goods for the survival basis. Whereas the second observation is the industry generates a wave of endless consumption. That is what imparts dynamism to growth process. Second is the growth of civilization. Now again here growth of civilization is two observations where the people become conscious about the quality of life, like they get education, proper skills. And second is the world economy are merging into a global economy. When I talk about infrastructure growth, again I have analyzed it into two different major importance. First is with respect to expansion of infrastructure facilities, there is infrastructure growth, and second is the growth of one industry which always escalates the other, that is the infrastructure. Now, if industries make use of various infrastructure facilities such as transport, communication, banking, insurance, growth in industries necessitate the need for development of infrastructure. So accordingly, infrastructure is developed. As they have used the terminology industrialization, a sine qua non of growth. Here in the legal term it is a kind of a wrongdoing, but we will be referring in a different terminology with a robust growth. Now if there is a growth process and industrializations are related to each other, then the industrialization can be often taken as sine qua non of growth. Now what does this mean? Implying that the growth occurs when the industrialization spread. It is basically the developed countries are industrialized in a most effective manner. That's why industrialization has emerged into this powerful route to the process of growth. Industries make various use of infrastructure facilities, as well as it has where the industrialization is necessary for the growth of a country. Now the basic evidence to support is that it can be seen that in developed countries there are massive developed industries as well. Next we will be taking is factors necessitating direct participation of the state, that is the public sector, in industrial development. But before I proceed, the two terminologies should be clear in your head. The first is the public sector. What do you mean by public sector? Second is the private sector. What do you mean by private sector? Now, public sector here, business which is controlled by the government, and private sector is business which is controlled by the private individuals. So it will be easy for you to take into consideration. Lack of capital. Now, lack of capital here, the first point is earlier industries suffered from lack of availability of capital. At the time of independence, Tata and Birla were the only established industries in the country. So it became necessary for the government to invest capital in public sector industries. Now, when I talk about lack of investment, the private investors did not have sufficient money for investment, and also they did not wish to invest because of the low demand in the market. So it forced the government to invest in industries. Going on with growth with social justice, here the government wanted to achieve the objective of growth with social justice, but this objective could be achieved only by the participation of the government in industrialization. Why? Because private industry's objective was only to maximize profit. That's why it forced the government to participate in industrialization. Now I will be giving you a short introduction on IPR, that is Industry Policy Resolution 1956. So it will be easy for you as well to remember. Now the government of India revised its first IPR, that is the Policy Resolution of 1948, by declaring the Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956. It was regarded as the economic constitution of India. Now the Industry Policy Resolution 1956 focused on 3 to 4 major things. First, the Industrial Policy Resolution focused on the need to expand the public sector, to build up large and growing cooperative sector. Third, to encourage the separation of ownership and management in private industries, and above all, to prevent the rise of private monopolies as well. This is for today. If you have any doubt, do let me know. Thank you.